So demand for plastic surgeries is surging in Dubai post-COVID-19. Now, COVID-19 saw a spike in our dependency on gadgets, tech, and most of all, Zoom calls. And experts said that the rise of video conferencing platforms such as Zoom has had a negative effect on self-image, prompting many users to consider plastic surgery. And this was according to a report published by The National.
So the statistics indicate that cosmetic procedures have risen sharply since the onset of COVID-19, up from 223,000 in 2020 to 583,000 in 2022. And as well as that, the number of men getting plastic surgery has also risen. Now men account for 1 in 4 of all those checking in for plastic surgery.
And that is so interesting. I mean, how our dependency on technology has resulted in that. And it's just like people want to get their jawlines contoured, they want to, remove the double chin, they want to remove all those things. And the thing is that like on Zoom calls, right? Like you go in, like if you're working from home, you don't look your best. Like a percentage of the time you don't look your best. You're just like in comfortable clothes, you throw on a top or something. You don't like really put in the effort of like hair and makeup, right? I don't know, that's me.
I was working from home for a month and I made a conscious effort to look pretty. I thought I felt great. I was like, no makeup, no hair. Yeah, it was great.
There are people like you, natural beauty.
No, not natural, but just make an effort to be like, okay, you don't have to wear makeup. It's great. And you just feel comfortable.
See, that's you. You're comfortable in your skin, right? And there are people like me. And I'm sure there are people like me who are not so comfortable, like without like dressing up on camera at least, So it's just like it adds to
So continue with this point. So you're saying that because of the increase of Zoom calls, there are more people getting plastic surgery?
So that is a contributing factor, like a major contributing factor. Like people see how they, look on Zoom calls and they just keep constantly looking at themselves, right? Like when I'm talking to you now, I can't see myself. So I'm not that self-conscious because it's like, it is what it is. But then on Zoom, you can see yourself. You can see like the way you talk, all your expressions, you can see all of that like in front of you constantly. So I think people have that thing of, being super judgmental on themselves, right? Like self-critical. So I see like where that, drive comes to, like just to go and fix or correct something that you don't find.
I would have thought we didn't work from home, so correct me if I'm wrong, because we were in the office most of the time, but I would have assumed that more people working from home would have made them relax more about the pressure of society on them in terms of beauty.
The two kind of mindsets.
Because you're not out and about. You don't have to, people were socializing a lot less. They were, spending more time with family. They were getting back to basics. Like people say, throughout the pandemic, a horrific time, of course. But one of the silver linings was that people got back to basics and people kind of looked at their jobs and thought, why am I putting so much effort into something that's not important? Same as clothes, same as makeup. So I would have thought the opposite. However, what I do think is a contributing factor to the rise in plastic surgeries is that the UAE is actually putting spend behind internationally, suggesting people come to Dubai. I think the name of the campaign, I can't fully remember, but it's One Day in Dubai, something similar. And putting Dubai on a pedestal for coming to the UAE for surgeries because we have world-class
experts
facilities and things for people to come. So I know that would be a contributing factor as well. Zoom
for
calls
sure, yeah. And like Dubai is considered to be the Beverly Hills of the Middle East. So that is also like, with a number of clinics that we have, the number of technologies and like upcoming machineries and all of that. It's just people do want to, they know that it's a safe place to get all these surgeries and to undergo all these like treatments. But you know what? Like all the points you made on COVID, so true. But all these...
It's a mix.
All these learnings are so fleeting, right? Like during COVID, we also learned to be kind and generous, not troll on the internet. How long did that last? Yeah.
I remember that day. I remember that day.
Let's all support each other, support the community, stand together. But then as soon as COVID was done, the masks came off. People were back online trolling, bullying. How fleeting were the lessons we learned during COVID?
I don't know.
Really? You don't think?
I mean, it's hard to kind of gauge internet trolls. Like, we don't have a meter of it.
Yeah.
They're always going to be there. Like, people are always people at the end of the day. Whether we learned lessons from COVID, I think so.
Really? 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 Okay, let's start with the basics of like, you know, like you said, washing hands. Like, do you think people still go by that?
So I was at the doctor yesterday.
Yeah.
And I was so conscious of my hands. I wore a mask, and I noticed, because I wore a mask to the doctor, I noticed that when I went to the supermarket before the doctor, that a lot of people were wearing masks. And I felt gross. I was like, I need to wash my hands immediately when I get home. And like, my mum and I walked back into the apartment, we both like, let's wash our hands. Like, yes, 100%. I'm more conscious. No, yes. We are more conscious of germs. We are better people. We have, whether or not, although we're back to working whatever hours our job entails, we know that there's a silver lining in terms of hybrid working. That never happened before COVID. There's a younger generation who think that they deserve a day at home every day a month. That was never a thing before COVID. I'm not saying it's true or it's not true.
Yeah,
that was never even an option.
Entitlement. That's what you get out of COVID.
That's not what I said. But there's people who are working from home. You know, I know people in tech jobs in big cities who have managed to get that tech salary, and now they're living in the countryside. They don't even need to go into the office. Like, this is all post-COVID. This is all the silver lining of something that was truly horrific for a year and a bit.
That's true. You made a good point there. I give up. It's not Zoom calls. No, it's not Zoom calls. Nope. I take that back.
No, you said Zoom calls are a contributing factor.
Yeah.
And you made a good point that some people, if you're looking at yourself, you're more aware.
Personally, I relate to the report. Only because, like, I know, like, for me, it's like when I'm on a Zoom call, I'm just like, okay, this got to go. This got to change.
Beautiful.
Oh my God, stop it. You're so beautiful.
We're not putting you on Zoom calls ever again. We're going to ban mirrors in the office, and then you'll realize.
Do you remember last month when you're like, why isn't your camera on, Simran? Why isn't your camera on? I'm just like,
that's because I was sitting like straight out of bed, my hair all over the place, and I just thought,
you don't need to put in an effort.
Okay.